Welcome to the very first Built by Motherhood podcast, where we talk about all things motherhood and fitness related. Today, we're going to talk to CrossFit Games athlete and mother of one beautiful daughter, Arielle Loewen. So let's get to it. Okay. So to start off, I just kind of wanted to see how you got into CrossFit. Was it before you had your kid, after? Just kind of where did it all start?
Yeah, it all started in 2012. I actually finished high school. I was a cheerleader in high school, ran track, and I needed something as an outlet because I would go crazy. I'm used to being in the gym for training for track, training for cheerleading, if you count that. And I was actually coaching cheerleading at a gym in Midland, Texas. And my boss loved CrossFit. Like all he did was talk about how great CrossFit is. I should try it. And he brought me to my first CrossFit class. And I instantly fell in love. But I was 18 coming out of high school. I didn't have any money, and CrossFit memberships, they're pretty expensive. It was upwards of $150. So I couldn't afford it. And I actually went to the owner. His name's Brian. And I was just like, hey, I'm this high schooler. I love CrossFit. Can we work out a deal? I'll clean the gym if you give me a membership. So that's how I got into it. And I ended up cleaning their gym and cleaning their sweat towels. And that's how I paid for my first membership.
Yeah, that's so funny. In high school, I did cheerleading and track. And then I actually started CrossFit in high school, though, because my mom wanted to try it. And she's like, hey, will you just come try it with me? I was like, okay. I would think I was 15 or 16.
Okay, what'd you run in track?
The 400 and the high jump.
Okay, cool. See, I ran the 400 as well, but my favorite was hurdles. So I ran the 100 and 300 hurdles.
Oh God, I was terrible at hurdles. I tried it just messing around. I was so bad at it.
We're so opposite then. I loved it. High jump, I could not figure out how to do the arch over the bar and then flick your legs up.
Yeah, it's a weird movement.
It's so weird. Were you a flyer in cheer?
No, I was a back spot. I was always really tall. Were you a flyer?
No. Oh goodness. I've been 135 to 145 since I was ninth grade. So they were not lifting me. Yeah. So they were not lifting me up. So I was this consistent base. If you needed the stronger base, that was my persona.
So you started doing CrossFit, you said, right after high school?
Yeah, right after high school, and just fell in love with it. And basically I've been doing CrossFit. That was 2012. So I've been doing it ever since.
And then you had your daughter how long ago?
I had her in 2019. So I had 7 years of CrossFit under my belt before I gave birth and went back to it.
How did it affect you when you were pregnant? Did you still try to do CrossFit? Did you just kind of switch and do something else, or what?
I really was afraid of getting super overweight because I love food and I know pregnancy affects weight. So I actually CrossFitted Monday through Friday every day when I was pregnant. I had an 8 to 5 job. I'd get off at 5, go to the 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. class, and just did that literally up until the day I gave birth.
You never were oh, I'm so tired, I'm just going to go home and sleep?
Never. Usually I was in bed though by 9 o'clock because I was passed out. But part of what made me feel normal was CrossFit. So it was this is my normal, what I'm used to doing. I don't want to change too much about, because pregnancy changes a lot. I was I at least want my mental normal before everything else changes.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I tried to do CrossFit throughout my whole pregnancy, and I got hip surgery the month before I got pregnant on both of my hips. So I did CrossFit the beginning a little bit, and then I ended up kind of having to just go down to what I could do just to get some kind of fitness in. But that's awesome. And I definitely had a lot of days where I was just tired and I slept, and I was not like you. I did not go every day. I didn't work most of the time either, so I have no idea how you did that.
I would say the first month, my first trimester wasn't as consistent. So I'll put it that way. When I had morning sickness and super, super fatigued. But once I got over that hump, so probably month 3 and on, I was very consistent. But it almost got to where walking hurt me more than going to CrossFit. I would do a normal CrossFit class, but I would go for a 2-mile walk and my hips would kill me. So it was weird how that was.
I was opposite. I did a lot of walking and not as much CrossFit.
We're so opposite.
Yeah.
Do your hips still hurt?
Yeah, I actually went and got x-rays yesterday to look at them and see what's going on. Because I got my hip surgery last December, then I got pregnant in January. I had my son in October. So I'm only a couple weeks out from that, or a couple months out from having him. So they're still not 100%. So
how was like recovery for you? Did you have a C-section or?
no, I had regular vaginal birth, which was rough on my hips. Because everyone, like, while I was pregnant, were like, how are your hips healing? I was like, well, I really don't know because I'm pregnant. So everything is like loose and moving around and just like weird. So it was a rough year, but hopefully now I'll start getting my strength back.
Back to it. What do you have, a little boy?
Little boy, yeah. So after you had your daughter, how did you get back into CrossFit? Did you have to take a long time off? Did you kind of jump right back in, or what was that kind of like?
I gave myself a month because I know that the doctor I loved my doctor, but she also did CrossFit. So she understood.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, she was like, okay, no handstand push-ups, no rowing if it feels uncomfortable. So she knew all the movements. So she told me, give yourself a month of doing nothing. Like if you feel good, go for a walk. If you feel good, all you can do is walk. She like made that very clear. So after I went to my checkup and got cleared, I went back into the gym. Literally, like had Blakely January 19th. February 19th had my follow-up appointment. January 20th, I was back in the gym. Because it's just so weird for everything to be so mushy and loose. I was like, I just need to move. And also the mental side of it was like, let me get back my mental normal that I'm used to back from 2012. It was like the little bit of...
So mentally it was harder for you to not work out than to make yourself go to the gym?
It really was. It really was, because that was my 1 hour of normalcy. Everything else was like, okay, my husband needs me, my daughter needs me all the time. Let me just have an hour to myself, I say. I still remember like the day before I went into CrossFit and got cleared, I was like, you know what, for fun, let me just do 100 air squats for time. No rush, let's just see. And the next day I like couldn't even walk. My muscles were so sore.
Yeah, it's weird. I'll do like the littlest workouts and I get sore. I'm like, what is going on?
Exactly. You're like, the old me could have done like 400 and not felt anything.
So did you ever feel like guilty going to the gym because it was time that you were taking away from being with your kid?
Definitely. Like I didn't realize what mom guilt was until I had that. And I even still get that. Like I only give myself 2 hours to 2.5 hours to work out a day. But I still am like, I'm sorry, Blakely, I love you, but I have to work out now because it's my job.
Will she come to the gym with you and watch?
She will. So when I got cleared, my husband works like crazy hours, 8 to 8 p.m. So I knew I couldn't rely on him to help me watch Blakely while I work out. So she would come with me and just sit in the stroller. I'd give her snacks. She'd have a little coloring pad to play with. So even it was like an hour mental break, she was still there in the gym and I still had to like watch her a little bit.
Yeah, moms never get time off, really.
No. And even working out, like if your kid was crying, it's like, okay, I guess I have to go push the stroller. They're still not totally relax.
Yeah. How important do you think it is that your daughter gets to like watch you work out and see how in shape you are and how much you take care of yourself?
I feel like she gets it. She's about to be 4 years old. So I feel like now she gets it. She'll see CrossFit Games and be like, oh, my mom goes to the CrossFit Games. But I think what's most fun is like she'll see me doing handstand push-ups, so then she'll try to hold a handstand. So I don't really have to teach her much because she'll watch it and try and copy it herself. And I'd way rather her copy like the good habits like that. It makes me nervous. The bad things she sees, I'm like, I don't want her to copy that.
Yeah, that's so awesome. You planning on having any more kids?
I think eventually. Right now, the CrossFit career is just better than I have ever expected. So we're going to ride it out as long as possible.
Yeah. So I know at the games this last year you got 11th, right?
Mm-hmm.
Before that, were you going to like the regionals, or did you go to the games other years, or where were you at kind of CrossFit level?
Yeah, I tried before Blakely actually to go to the games 5 times from 2014 to 2018. So 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Yeah, 5 times in a row I had qualified for regionals and would just like fall short every time. Like 10th place, 8th place, 7th place.
It's so close.
Isn't that crazy? And then after I went to a regional in 2018 in Salt Lake City, Utah. and I ended up maybe getting 12th. I'm not sure. But while I was there, I actually found out I was pregnant with Blakely because my body was just,
That's amazing.
yeah, my body was off. I could barely handstand walk. It was just like everything was out of whack. And I knew something was wrong, but I also kind of knew like, okay, I feel like I'm pregnant. And then come to find out 2018 happens, I get pregnant, and I was just like, you know what? If I couldn't make it 5 times before pregnancy, there's no way I'm going to come back stronger and fitter and be able to make it. And so I retired, quote unquote. And then I just got back in the gym. Just like I said, February 20th, I was like, okay, I'm cleared from the doctor. I'm just going to healthy lifestyle, mentally get well, physically get well, and just be like a fit mom. So like lose the baby weight, get back a little bit of muscle tone. And I just like fell in love with doing the daily class workout, eating well, and I just started to feel better and better and better. And so 2021 came around and I signed up for the open because everybody's like, oh, you're so great. Just sign up for fun. And then I actually qualified for the games in 2021 and then came back and qualified last year.
Yeah, a lot of people think like once you have a kid, like, oh, that's it. Like if I didn't make it to the games before, I guess I'm done now. But that's crazy. You came back stronger and then ended up making it.
It was unbelievable. And I still can't believe the order of events of how it happens. It just makes no sense.
Yeah, I think the mindset is a big part of it because a lot of people are just like, well, I had a baby. I guess I can't do it anymore. And they just give up.
Isn't that crazy? It kind of just defies all like the myths that people tell you about like how weak your body is, how weird it is afterwards. It's like, yes, it will be like that for a time, but you can slowly overcome it with like the right mindset, having what's important to you, and just prioritizing fitness and nutrition. I saw the best quote. It was like, you can use your kids as an excuse to like be lazy, be overweight, the house a mess, or you can use it as an excuse to prioritize fitness, prioritize this, because your kids are watching. So my excuse is like, I will not let my kids see this. So it just depends on like which mind frame you take. I thought that was good.
Yeah, that's awesome. Did your daughter go to the games with you? Did she get to go watch?
Yeah, she did this year for the first time. I don't know if we'll take her again, but she definitely got to go in and see, and like it was probably more of a memory for me than it was her because it was loud, it was hot, all day at a coliseum. I don't really think she loved it that much.
Was it hard to focus on like what you needed to do to compete, knowing she was there too? Like, oh crap, I need to make sure she's okay or anything like that?
No, I had tremendous help. My mom was there, my sister was there, and my mother-in-law was there. So I saw her in the morning, saw her in the evening, and I just like completely trusted them to take care of the in-between.
Yeah, it really does take a village to have help.
You're not lying. The hardest part was I would wake up 8 a.m., go to athlete briefing, and she would just be like, Mom, don't go to the games today. Let's just hang out. I'm like, I'm sorry.
It's sad, I'm sure, in the moment, but it's like such a small time frame in the grand scheme of like her life. It's a couple days. She'll be okay.
Yeah. And I'm like, we spend 24/7 together every other day of the year, like 4 days. It will be okay.
Do you do a lot of your training at home?
I actually transitioned in November to doing all of my training at home. And it's been amazing. I thought it was going to be super lonely and super unmotivating, but I'm learning that like I'm very disciplined and I can still push myself even if nobody's standing there watching me, which has been kind of nice.
But your daughter's there watching you. Got to impress her.
True. Yeah, true. But yeah, it's been great because I can literally just like walk out to our garage gym, work out, and then come back in. I don't have to drive 20 minutes to the gym, warm up, set up my stuff. So it's super convenient.
Yeah, right after we had our son, I told my husband, I was like, we got to get a gym set up in the garage because he is a sheriff and he works like crazy hours too. And so I was like, I'm just never going to get to work out again. Like, no, I need to figure something out. So we built a little home gym and now I do the same thing. I have my stationary bike inside. I'll warm up like with the baby just hanging out inside and then I go out to the garage and ready to work out and normally take like an hour and then back inside.
How often do you work out a week?
I try to aim for 5 days a week. Some days I'm like tired. And even though I don't go to work, I just hang out with my son all day. Some days are just tiring because he's still little. He still wakes me up at night a lot.
Yeah. And there's nothing like the constant, like I get very overstimulated a lot having a kiddo, like the constant of like somebody always needing you. I feel like you can't put that into words, but it's a feeling.
Yeah, it's a weird feeling. Like I'll put him down. I'll be like, okay, I gotta go. Like he's asleep for, I got maybe 30 minutes. I gotta get laundry done, do the dishes, do something. And then like 2 minutes later, he wakes up and I'm like, why? Like you just never have time really to relax.
No, to like sit down and just like read a book. It's just like foreign now. But at the same time, it's so worth it. So it's hard to describe.
Yeah, it's so worth it, but it's just so different. Because I didn't have my son until I'm 31 now. So till I was 31. So I went 31 years with waking up, go work out, all I want, sit down, drink coffee, take a long shower. Now I'm like in the shower as fast as I can, like chugging my coffee, trying to get back to him. And it's so different.
Oh, I remember. It's so different. Even like waking up and brushing your teeth before the baby wakes up is huge. Otherwise, it's like, okay, I have stinky breath now for 2 hours.
I know. Yeah, there'll be some nights where I just don't shower because I'm like, well, it's too hard to put him down. He's going to start screaming and then I feel bad. And it's like, I'll just not shower, I guess.
So is your husband gone a lot at nights too?
Yeah, he goes to the gym before work. So it's important for him to work out because his job is very physical. So he normally leaves at about 3 o'clock and then he goes to the gym. He's at work, like working by 6. He works 6 to 6. So he'll get back at like 6:30 in the morning, goes to sleep, and then he wakes up about 1:30. And then, so he has like from 1:30 to 3 o'clock that he's at the house awake. And he normally works like, it's supposed to be like 4 days on and then 3 days off. And then the next week is 3 days on, 4 days off, but they're super short. So he works like 5-6 days a week. So it's been rough recently.
It's all on you. Holy moly. That would be hard.
Yeah. Luckily, all my family is in Florida and we live in California. But luckily his family's here, so his mom will come over and help me sometimes. And even just like to come over for a couple hours and just hold the baby so I can just clean the house. Sometimes she'll come over and she'll be like, do you want me to help you? I'm like, just hold the baby. That's all I want. Just hold him and I'll do everything.
That's such a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you just need that like mental break to get stuff done.
For real. That's why I don't know. Always when I was like at my worst, overwhelmed with baby taking care of her, it was like, okay, it could be worse. I could have twins. It could be worse. I could be a single mother. It was like, okay, I'm fine. Snap out of it.
That's true. I don't know how moms do it with like a second one. Like if I had to do all this plus taking care of like a 2-3-year-old, like I couldn't do it.
No way. Or being pregnant and having like no energy taking care of another toddler. There's no way.
Yeah, that would be rough.
I am a little apprehensive to have another one because now that Blakely's 4, like life is easy with her now. I can be like, you're thirsty, go get your water from the fridge. You're tired.
Yeah. Do you want to start all the way back over with another little one?
Exactly. I know.
Did you grow up with brothers or sisters?
I do. I have an older sister who actually just had a little baby. He is 3 months old now. And then my brother, a younger brother who has 2 kiddos now.
That's funny. I have an older sister. She had her son 3 weeks after me. So he's like 2 months old now. And then I have a younger sister who has a like 14-month-old daughter.
They're very close. How fun.
Yeah. But yeah, whenever I think about having another one, I'm like, it sounds terrible. But then I think about growing up without my sisters. It's like, that would have sucked because we were super close.
Exactly. So it's like the selfish side. You're like, I don't want another one, but I want my kid to have another sibling.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm weird, but I would go through labor like 10 more times if I didn't have to be pregnant for 9 months. I hated everything about being pregnant.
What? Did you go in a hospital or have a home birth?
I went to the hospital. I was actually having a barbecue at my house on October 8th because my birthday is the 9th. And my mom was here from Florida. My husband's whole family was here. And then I started like kind of not feeling too good. It kind of felt like contractions. So I just was like watching it on my phone. And then within an hour, it went from 7 minutes to every 2 minutes. And then I got super nauseous. So I just went to my husband. I was like, hey, we might have to go to the hospital. And he's like, what? And I was like, just like, let me go to the bathroom, maybe take a shower, see how I feel. By the time I got in the shower, I was like, Mom, I was like, get in here. We got to go to the hospital. And then he ended up coming the following morning. So we shared the same birthday.
How fun. So you had like the movies like, oh, I feel weird. Okay, get to the hospital.
Yeah, but my water never broke. So I was like, maybe I'm fine. Like, cause it's never, they had to break it there. It just never broke. But I was like, yeah, like expecting this big gush of water. And then I was like, I know I have to go. But when I started feeling so bad, I was like hunched over and couldn't even stand up. I was like, okay, I should probably go.
Yeah, something's wrong. How fun. So I was induced. So I didn't have any of the, like, oh, are these contractions? It was like, okay, she will come out at this time, go to the hospital this day. But my sister was complete opposite and she had a home birth. So it's so interesting, to see like I very much trusted 100% the medical staff, and she very much was like at home breathing it out throughout that whole process. Just very, very different.
So she had no epidural, no nothing?
Nothing.
She doing it in like a bathtub?
Yes. Yeah. No epidural, no nothing. And I'm like, I would way rather do Murph 10 times in a row than do like an all natural home birth.
Yeah, that would be rough. Did you go over 40 weeks? Is that why you had to get induced?
Yeah. I think I went over like a solid week, and they were like, we can't let you. Yeah. And I didn't have any signs of any movement, like no dilation, no labor. What do they call that? Braxton Hicks. No Braxton Hicks anything. So they were like, okay, your baby's going to either stay in there until the summer or she's coming out now.
Yeah, my son came 9 days early and I couldn't have gone any longer. I was so glad that he came out and I was ready to be done. I hear my son crying out there with my husband.
It'll be okay. It'll buff out, right?
Yeah. It's so funny. I'll like have him all day long and he barely ever cries. And then my husband has him for like 5 minutes and I hear him crying and I'm like, what are you doing? Because he's just like holding him like flat. I was like, he doesn't want to do that. Like sit him up, walk around, do something and entertain him.
Exactly. That's so funny.
Last thing, I think just after you had your daughter, did you go through any like postpartum depression or anything like that when you weren't getting to work out?
I didn't, because I always I didn't go to work at this time. So I always made it a priority to get in the gym. I'd say the biggest struggle I had was realizing like my husband couldn't help me as much as I thought he could. So in my head, I had pictured, okay, my husband will be home at 6. He'll watch Blakely while I go to the 6:30 to 7:30 class. And after about 5 days of that not happening, it was honestly like our biggest fight we've ever had, because I'm like, I have no time for myself. I have nothing. I need 1 hour. Can you be home? And it just got to where he was like, realistically, I can't. So I had to take on the like, okay, if I'm going to go to the gym, I need to find childcare or she's coming with me. So I never had like postpartum depression, but I had like a rough week, I call it, of where it was just like, okay, how do I get back to normal? I feel like all I do is take care of a baby and I have no me time. So it was just learning how to change expectations of what I expected from my husband, what I expected my day to look like, and how I wanted the gym to look like going forwards.
I was the same way. I was like, oh, like I'll still be able to work out every day. It'll be fine. I was like, wait, not really.
Not at all. And you're like, okay, yeah, I'll be able to, while the baby sleeps, I'll do this, this, and this, and this. But it just is so much easier the outside looking in. But once you go through it, it's like, okay, I was so naive.
Yeah. A lot of times my son will fall asleep on me and I'm like, well, I could put him down and I'll maybe get 30 minutes. If I just let him sleep on me, we could chill for like 2 hours and relax. I'm like, we'll stay here with him on me.
That's funny because that's what my sister's going through right now. And she had reached out to me and she's like, I'll put him down. He'll sleep for 30 minutes or I can hold him for 2 hours, but I'm stuck on the couch. What do I do? And I'm like, I have no idea. That feels so long ago that I don't even remember.
Yeah, it's a weird feeling. So I'm like, man, I'm like wasting my day doing nothing. But I was like, it's not doing nothing. I'm letting my son like rest on me and he's getting the sleep he needs and I'm resting too, even though I like want to be active. But it's a weird time.
It's a weird transition, but it also goes by so quick. So I was talking to my sister, he's a 3 months old right now. And it's still the phase where like she holds him, he falls asleep, she sets him in the bassinet. And now it's so foreign because Blakely's almost 4. And I can't tell you the last time I like held her to fall asleep. So I'm like, even though those moments are hard and you're like, oh, I just want my me time, like they go by so fast and now they don't even need you to fall asleep anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, it already goes by quick. My son's 3 months old and I looking at pictures of when I first had him, I was like, He was so tiny. Now he's so big.
Okay, my sister had her baby November 7th. No, October 8th, the same day you had your baby.
October 9th, I had him at like 4 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, you had contractions on October 8th.
On the 8th, yeah. I went into the hospital at like 10 o'clock at night on the 8th, and then I ended up having him at 4 in the morning on the 9th.
Yeah. Okay, so they're like the same age. How fun.
Yeah, the whole time that I was pregnant, his due date was the 19th or the 18th. And I was like, oh, I hope he doesn't come early, and then we have to share a birthday. Exactly what happened.
He's like, heard you, Mom. I got you.
Yep. All right. I'll be there on the 9th.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
All right. Well, I think that was all the questions that I had. Well, thanks for taking the time to talk, and good luck at the next CrossFit Games. Are you going to do Wadapalooza this year?
I am. Yeah, we leave next Thursday. Yeah.
Nice. I'm heading to Florida on Sunday, and I'll be there through Wadapalooza, so I might try to go down and watch because my family's in Fort Lauderdale, so I'm going to go visit them. I'll probably go down and watch just because that's my favorite competition. But so maybe I'll see you there. I'll be cheering you on.
My parents literally just got back Monday from Fort Lauderdale. They went there for vacation. Yeah, what a small world.
That's funny. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for taking the time to talk, and good luck at Wadapalooza. Good luck at the games. Good luck being a mom. Just everything.
Thank you. You too, Kelly. Appreciate it. Bye.
Bye.